You keep on using words like the message and unbelievers.
Yes.
And look, certain of the hereafter.
Okay.
Right? I find the word certain of the hereafter hugely problematic.
No, that's
Why?
wait, sorry, stop.
What does that mean to be certain of the hereafter?
First thing.
No one knows what the hereafter is, whether it exists for sure.
First,
How can you be certain of it?
Jonathan, first thing.
What kind of words you put in a script like that?
I'll tell you. Should I tell you? First of all, that doesn't apply to you.
Is working in the stock market gambling?
Okay. The stock market is a grey area. The reason being is because in the stock market you're investing in companies for a profit or a loss. Now we're told in Islam do not mistake interest and so it's not gambling. Yeah.
How can you therefore talk about God, yes, as though we all know what God is, when God is not knowable?
Very easy answer for you.
Yeah.
Because I don't ignore God's messengers whilst you do.
My purpose in reading it, I think, if I'm aware of my own purpose, is to at least understand how other people, Muslims in particular, derive any benefit from it, or get their morals and their beliefs and their inspiration from it. And my experience of reading the Quran so far on my own, I haven't done it with a professional, imam, has been really, really negative.
Give me an example.
Well, there are a few specifics and a few non-specifics. I want to give you the non-specifics first, and we can go down. First of all, I find it very, very difficult to read.
Difficult?
Yes, difficult to read. As in, I don't want to know what happens next. It's not like it doesn't read like easily like a story. It doesn't have any semblance of organisation. It's kind of like.
Sorry, just one second.
It starts and then it says.
One second. Alice, pass me the Quran, sir. Quran.
Yes, it doesn't have
Well, let's test it. Well, let's test that.
Okay.
Yeah. A page is page long enough? 2 pages? How many pages do you want me to read?
Do you mean like I have unfinished stories?
No, it doesn't really have stories. Really, it has some stories in it. It's not like I was brought up with the Hebrew Bible.
Okay, here
Jewish, and there's a story in the beginning. God created the earth, and then there's Noah, and then there's Abraham, and he has children, and then there's stories, and stuff happens. People die, and they're bored, and they have wars, and they fight, and they have. Stuff happens.
Ready?
Yeah, go on.
Okay. Alif Lam Mim. This is a scripture of which there is no doubt a guidance to those who ward off evil, who believe in the unseen and establish worship and spend of that we have bestowed upon them, and who believe in that which is revealed to you, O Muhammad, and that which was revealed before you, and are certain of the hereafter. So basically, this is revealed to the people, God-fearing. Okay. These depend on guidance from their Lord. These are the successful. As for the disbelievers, whether you warn them or you warn them not, it is all for one. They believe not. Right. Allah has sealed their hearing and their hearts, and on their eyes there is a covering. Theirs will be an awful doom. And of mankind there are some who say we believe in Allah on the last day when they believe not. So these are the Muslims who claim to be Muslim, when the reality is they're not. They think they can deceive Allah and those who believe, but they deceive no one except themselves, but they perceive it not. In their hearts is a disease, and Allah increases their disease, which is the hypocrisy. Yeah, a painful doom is theirs because they lie. And when it is said to them, make not mischief in the earth, they say we are peacemakers only. And so this is all in correlation so far. No,
okay, so
what's your problem so far?
Let's start. Very glad you read that.
Good.
Okay. First of all, this actually brings up one of the main themes that I struggle with in the Quran, which is it seems to be very insecure with itself. The Islamic belief system is very insecure with itself, and therefore seems to be, in inverted commas, obsessed, or very, very constantly bringing up this issue of belief and not belief, who believes and who doesn't believe in what they believe. And this features in this very first bit.
Okay, now first of all, do you understand the point of the Quran and Muhammad?
Okay, so here's my understanding of Quran and Muhammad. Yes? It was 7th century.
No, what's the point? Why the Quran? Why Muhammad?
My understanding is that the creator of the universe, via a messenger or / prophet, has gracefully provided humanity with a written guide through the Quran and the associated books.
No.
Okay.
The Quran is a warning. Yeah, the Quran is a warning to you
Right.
and to human beings
Yes.
to not be heedless, not to think this world is everything there. This is just a part of existence. Yeah, and then it warns you about things in this world. Reminds you of stories of the past. Yeah, and tell you what's going to happen in the future.
Right.
Yeah, so this is the point of the Quran. So, of course, the Quran is going to warn those who don't believe in it or believe in God and believe in the message of the prophets.
Okay, but let's.
So who?
Let me
Go on.
discuss that with you. Okay, let's start with that. Okay, so let's just get a little philosophical here. Okay, creator of the universe,
Right.
everything big and everything tiny. Yeah, the planet, the universe, the black holes, everything, chemistry, biology, physics. The creator of the universe creates human beings with some kind of spirituality.
Right.
We are not just a bunch of atoms. We have
Right.
some kind of soul. Okay.
Right.
Put someone on this earth.
Right.
How many years ago?
No. Go carry on.
10,000, 10 million?
No idea.
Don't
Carry
know. Right? Well, it makes a difference, by the way.
Well, wait, it's irrelevant to me.
Well,
Why does it make a difference to you?
I'll tell you why it makes a difference to me. Because here we are, we're born, we die, we go on this journey between our birth and our death. We supposedly have some kind of purpose, each of us as individuals and as a community, right? And we're supposed to figure out how to have joy and reduce the amount of suffering that we have. This is
No, we'd have to figure out nothing.
This is our morality.
No, we don't have to figure out nothing. See, the beautiful thing is, you see, our creator has sent us a guide. Yeah, we have to figure out nothing.
Does the creator of the universe love each human being? Do you think?
What do you mean by love? Want the best for them?
Yeah. Have their best interests.
Of course.
Okay, so that's what I mean. So the creator of the universe creates human beings whom it loves, right? With whom it has a loving relationship.
Okay, first thing, I'm a Muslim, not Christian, but carry on.
Fine. No.
Well, you're using Christian terminology.
No, I'm not Christian.
Loving relationship. Carry on.
No, I'm building up a discussion here.
No,
you agreed with me.
I'm happy.
The creator of the universe has a relationship.
But don't mix me up with a Christian. That's all I say.
I'm not assuming you're a Christian at all. I don't make any assumptions about it. Right? The creator of the universe creates human beings with a loving relationship with each human being.
Right.
Love being caring about their interests.
What's the best for them? Yes.
Okay, what's the best for them? Millions of years go by.
Right.
I don't know whether we're a Neanderthal or we're not. I don't know what happens.
Go on.
At some point in history, and I'm interested to know why not before.
Right.
The creator of the universe then reveals itself through a series of prophecies, culminating in the perfect prophecy of Muhammad and the Quran.
Yes.
Right? Now, my expectation of the Quran and of the belief, the whole belief of Islam, which is not just the Quran, it's the Hadith and the life of the Prophet, stories and all that kind of stuff, yeah, and the spirit of it. Yeah, my understanding is that the creator of the universe cares just as much about you as about a Mongol living in Greenland or an Aboriginal living in Australia 1,000 years ago. We're all human beings. We all have a soul, and we're all loved, right? So the whole system of think of it as a loving father, yes, saying giving a warning, as you put it, to his or her children, of my father, his children, saying, believe in this because otherwise you're doomed or damned, right? That whole procedure doesn't seem to make sense in the context of a global community where millions of people, or billions of people, have passed through this earth and haven't really had a revelation because they haven't had access to it.
Stop. So what, according to Islam, because this is what we're referring to, what's the fate of these people?
Well, I don't know. But my question, I don't know what the fate of these people is.
Yeah, but you're acting like as if they're at some kind of loss.
I'll tell you what it is. It seems to me, when I read the Quran, come back to my question and to the verses that you read, that the creator of the universe seems to care a great deal, yes, and express a great deal of concern about the beliefs of human beings, whether they be Muslims or non-Muslims, whether they live in the Middle East or living in Australia, right? There seems to be a lot of concern. When I read the Quran, there's lots and lots of chapters and lots of verses about believers and non-believers, about believing the right thing and believing the wrong thing. Now, let me just put that there for a moment. First of all, would you agree with that? Would you actually not agree with it? Do you understand why I might pick that up from reading the Quran? Does that make sense to you?
What? Why?
What I'm saying.
Okay. So basically, what you're saying is the Quran seems to care about people,
No, it seems to care about
whether people believe or not.
people's beliefs.
Yeah. Of course, it cares.
Beliefs. Fine. One of my concerns, which is a concern that I have some fears around, is that it seems to be, whether it was contextual at the time or whether it applies today, I don't know, and it doesn't make a big difference to me. It seems to be that the way of that there are sometimes expressions of a violent end or a violent reaction to people's lack of beliefs, whether it's ascribed to Allah who does that, or whether it's ascribed to human beings, whether it's in this life.
So you're talking about Allah tells about the punishment for the disbelievers,
there seems to be a lot of punishment and violence.
Okay. So in life, back to life now.
Yeah.
What motivates you?
What motivates me to what?
To do anything? What's your motivation?
What's my motivation?
I'll tell you the motivation.
I would say I have a natural instinct to live, to be alive, to survive.
No, your motivation is very simple. Two things.
Yeah.
Punishment or reward.
Not true.
100% true.
Well, what do you mean when you say punishment or reward?
Meaning,
you mean
do this.
Pleasure or pain?
Do this. No. Do this, and you can have this thing for you. Don't do it, and this is going to happen to you. Yeah. So, for example, don't park on these double yellow red lines here.
Right.
Yeah. Don't park there.
Okay.
Would you park there?
Well, I might do in certain.
You might do.
Yeah.
What would happen?
Well, it depends. It depends if I'm in a rush. It depends what.
So someone says if you park here, if someone says you park here on these double red lines, we're going to tow your car away. Listen.
Yeah.
We're going to tow your car away.
Yeah.
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 Would you park there?
I might do.
Really?
Okay, but this is very.
Now, if someone towed your car away, could you have any complaint?
Hang on. Yes, I might do. But this is very, very important. It's very important. Yeah. So you gave me an example.
Yeah, there's my example.
You're parking on double red.
Yes.
Yeah. And you were expecting me to.
Expecting you.
You were expecting me.
Listen. First thing, say what you like. I don't care what you say.
No, fine. But
I'm not bullying you here.
No, I'm not saying you're bullying me. I didn't say you're bullying.
I'm asking very simple.
I understand, but let me finish my.
All right.
It seemed to me.
Right.
That you were looking for a yes or no answer. Yes, and I'm not giving you one of those. I'm giving you it depends.
Answer how you like.
Fine. Okay. So
how would you answer?
My answer is it depends.
Depends on
the
circumstances. Would you have any complaint?
It depends on the circumstances.
Don't park here or we'll tow your car away.
It depends on the circumstances. If my car was broken down, I'd be upset. If it wasn't, I would be less upset.
Right.
Lots of different. If my car had been there for 30 seconds, I would be upset. If it had been there for 3 days, I wouldn't be upset.
Even if you park, look, double red line, your car's going. All right.
But it depends on the circumstances.
Now, the people who told you don't park your car there.
Yeah.
Why are they telling you that?
They're telling me that because they don't want me to park there.
Why not?
Well, they've got rules and regulations to help the circulation.
No, why though? What? Yeah.
To help the circulation of the
right.
city.
So there's reasons why they're doing it, isn't there?
Yes.
Okay. Now, although there's punishment for parking there,
yes.
The reason they're telling you not to park there is for your benefit and everyone else's benefit.
Absolutely.
Okay. So this is how we're talking now when it comes to God, yeah, and the warnings.
Hang on a minute. Stop there. Stop for a second. You're going off a little bit.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about.
In my opinion,
all right.
and I'll tell you what.
I'll say why I'm not.
But let me tell you why you are, and then you can tell me why
right.
you're not. Right? You said to me what motivates you, and then you told me what motivates me. Right? You said it was punishment and reward.
Do you work?
That's not true.
All right, I'll prove it again. Do you work?
It depends what you mean by work.
Do you go to work?
Not really, no.
Are you self-employed?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. Do you make any money?
Yes.
Would you do it for not making any money?
I earn money. Yes,
right.
I would do it for no money.
So you give all your time and you all your effort?
If I had enough money, then I would do it.
No, but right now you wouldn't, would you?
Well, at the moment, no. I need to feed my family.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, you're motivated. Why?
But you see, you're taking work and double your life and applying it to my whole motivation, my whole life. There are many things in my life that are motivated
by what?
Through different things other than reward or punishment.
For example.
Well, for example, love. Connection.
Stop. What's the reward of love?
Well, it's itself. Love is its own reward.
In what sense? What does that mean?
To have love.
Yeah.
Is
rewarding. Are you married?
Yes.
Right. So your wife loves you.
Yes.
Yeah. And for your wife loving you, obviously, she does things for you.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
It does.
So there's reward in that love.
I'm not saying there's no reward.
No.
I'm
But what I'm saying,
everything.
I'm saying to you, everything.
Okay, let's go with that. Okay, I don't agree with it, but let's go for now. But let's go with it. So my motivation is only reward and punishment. That's my
Every human
motivation.
being.
Every human being. Okay, so what?
Okay. So God in His wisdom knows what motivates human beings. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll give you one example. I have a daughter. Yeah. Well, 2 daughters, 6 and 12. All right. Now I could say to them, clean your room, tidy up all the mess. If you don't, I'll slap you, put you to bed. If you do, I'll take you to the cinema. Yeah. So now they've got a choice here.
Yes.
They can either do it to avoid the slap, or do it to get the cinema. Oh, okay. If I say both, if you don't do it, you do this, and if you do, you do that, then definitely the room's getting tidy. Yeah? Okay. Now, why am I telling them to tidy their room? Is it because I want to bully my daughters? No. Because I know you could get mice and this, that, the other. Yeah? So my reasons for telling them to do it is for a specific reason, yeah? My children may not comprehend that reason. My 6-year-old definitely wouldn't. Yeah? But they recognize the motivation. Okay. So God in His wisdom knows human beings are motivated in this way. So He gives you the greatest punishment to escape from and the greatest reward to attain.
But you see, that's all very nice. Yes, I hear that. Yes. But we need to put this idea of reward and punishment and God, which we'll get to in a minute. Yeah, I hope if we have time. Into a wider. I haven't. Into a wider. I've got to go.
How long have you got?
I've got to go. I've got about 30 minutes. Into a wider context.
Okay.
Right? And the wider context is this: you have people believing that Quran and Muhammad the Prophet are the truth, represent some form of the truth. And you have a whole bunch of other human beings all over the globe, right, who believe different things.
Yeah.
They believe in atheists, they believe in all sorts of shamans, they believe in Christianity, they're not sure what they believe, etc., etc. I can tell you about my own belief, right? I was brought up in a strictly Orthodox Jewish family, and I was told that there's a God, and that God wrote the Torah, and that the Torah applies to Jews, have to keep loads and loads of laws, and if they do, they get rewarded, and if they don't, they get punished. I was brought up on that diet of upbringing. Okay. When I was about 15 years old, right, I started asking questions about the nature of God, the nature of the universe, the nature of the teachings, etc., etc. I'm 48 years old now, and I find myself struggling with belief. Right? If someone coming out say before it came to me, what do I believe? What do you believe? Tell me in 5 sentences what you believe. I said, well, I believe that the human beings and everything that we see is not a bunch of random atoms, and that there's a spiritual world, right? But that a human way of understanding and articulating that spiritual world is shrouded in mystery. That's my personal belief, right? So if you said to me, okay, Jonathan, yeah, do you believe in a creator, let's call it Allah, or God, whatever, that creates the world and is your master and your God's servant, I'd say no, I don't believe that. I really don't believe that. Do I believe in the Quran, the literal word of God, or the Torah? I'd say no, I don't believe that. I'm curious about it, and I'm open-minded about it, and I'm struggling with it, and I keep on reading and going to the synagogue and going to the mosque and come to Speaker's Corner. But at the moment, I'm like, my belief system is sort of, in flux, and maybe I'll die like that. I don't know, right? And I tend to be a nice person. I'm honest. I'm decent. I'm kind. I'm non-violent. I'm productive. Yeah. So I consider myself to be a relatively decent human being. I'm not perfect, and I find holes, but I'm basically an okay guy. So when I read the Quran, this is my personal experience. When I read the Quran and I look at it and I look at my belief and where I am in my life and look at the world and where they are in their lives, everybody in the world, I look at this reward, this punishment. I find it offensive. So I find it like I look at it, I apply it to myself, and I go, well, according to this, according to my understanding of this, which may be a misunderstanding, according to my reading the English every day and whatever understanding of this, like, I'm a bad person. I deserve to suffer. I deserve eternal hellfire. Yes, I'm wrong. I'm bad. I'm stupid. I'm all this kind of stuff. Yes, and I find it upsetting, and sad. That's my first piece, and the second piece is when I look at the excesses of Islamic belief. I call it excess of Islamic belief, which is often called Islamism or violent Islamism, right? Which is people we know about in the news who are doing all sorts of violent acts against other Muslims mainly, but also against Christians and non-believers and gays and whatever. When I look at that, and then I look back at the Quran, yes, I see a relationship between what they're doing and what's being written. And at the very least, I condemn the Quran and its author, which is God apparently, yes, to for a lack of clarity about how to be a decent human being in our world, yes, and particularly miss an update. I think an update to the Quran is well overdue, and that these people, the people out there who are doing these things are, I'm very compassionate. I think they're decent people who are misguided. Most people think they're evil people who are misguided. I think they're good human beings who believe that what they're doing is right, and they're doing the word of God, but they've got confused about, they're completely upside down confused about what they're reading. So there's a personal reading which I find offensive, and then there's a reading by my fellow human beings out there far away mainly, although there's some bombings in Europe, but mainly in the Middle East, where I look at them and I feel sad and angry and confused and upset, and again from the same way. So that's my question.
Okay. Do you believe in the Geneva Convention?
Well, I'm not going to give you simple answers, just not because I'm...
All right, does every nation have the right to defend itself?
Let's put it this way. I've read the Geneva Convention, and there are lots of aspects that correlate with my internal morality.
Okay. Yes. Do you believe people have the right to defend themselves?
Yes, absolutely.
So people are okay to fight those who fight them, yeah?
Absolutely.
So if the Quran says to fight those who fight you, you have no problem with that?
No problem with that.
Okay. Your problem is killing innocent people, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Show me anywhere in the Quran it says kill innocent people.
I didn't say it says in the Quran kill innocent people.
You implied it.
No, I'll tell you what I implied, or what I said explicitly, is that when I read the Quran, when I personally read the Quran, yes.
But here's the problem.
Wait. You tell me the problem in a minute. Let me finish my sentence. When I read the Quran, yes, and then I look at what's happening where people are murdering innocent people, right? I can see how the Quran might have been misunderstood by them, even though I agree with you that's a misunderstanding.
Yes? All right. I mean? There's a verse in the Quran called the Disbelievers.
Yes, in 109.
Have you read it?
Yes.
What does it say?
It says, I believe what I believe, and you what you believe, and let's all live in peace.
No, I believe what I believe, you believe you believe. Yeah. I'll never worship what you worship, nor will you should worship mine.
Yes.
You to your religion, me to mine. Okay. Is that telling me to kill you?
No.
No, it's not. Right. So what you have to do in this scenario, to understand the Quran, look at the violent verses, and look at what it's addressing, yeah? And then look at the whole Quran, yeah? And look at what it says to do with the disbelievers, yeah? How we to deal with them. Right. Okay. Yeah. And from that you'll derive what the Quran is teaching. And you'll realize the context of the violent verses that is specific to warfare, to war.
But you're not answering my question. Yeah.
That's the first point.
Wait. Look.
Oh, second point.
Look, you're not answering my question. Let me put it another way. Right. My expectation of the Quran would be the creator of the universe, Allah, right, making clear statements that are the beginning of the Quran, not at the end, at the beginning and the middle and the end, which say, right, use violence only in the extreme cases of self-defense and at no other time. And that's all that you say about violence. Yes? Okay, number one.
You're 48. First of all, you're 48. Yeah?
48.
You're 48, isn't it?
48,
okay.
Yeah.
I embraced Islam when I was 27.
Okay.
Yeah? I'm now 43. Okay. So I'm coming up 16 years in October. Okay. I embraced Islam 3 weeks after 9/11.
Okay.
So 9/11 happens, 3 weeks later, I embraced Islam. Okay. I lose my girlfriend, my daughters, my business, my father, my family, and everything for the sake of this religion. Okay. Right. So,
very courageous, if I might say.
Very intellectual of me.
Whatever, I think it's courageous.
And intellectual.
Intellectual, but you can have an intellectual understanding and then be cowardly about it, but you were courageous.
Yeah, of course. Alhamdulillah.
Well, it depends. I'm giving you a compliment.
Look, truth is, reality is reality. I deal with the reality. Okay. If that's a reality, that's a reality. Fine. It took me a while, because I was learning about Islam, but that was... Anyway, so when I see the Quran, now you're not a Muslim, I accept that. Right. The Quran says exactly what I would expect it to. The Quran tells me of the past, yeah, and corrects the mistakes in the previous scripture, yeah. It gives me a guide to my life today, yeah, and it warns me of what's to come, yeah, and it warns of a punishment, yeah. I became a Muslim. I didn't want to burn. I'll be straight, yeah. So that was my motivation. I have no problem with that.
You didn't want to?
Didn't want to burn.
Burn.
just as my daughter didn't want to get slapped and put to bed. Yeah? But my Creator doesn't want to burn me. My Creator's motivating me with the punishment and obviously the reward.
Fine.
Right. So you saying that you'd expect the Quran, who cares what you expect of the Quran, to be honest with you? We're dealing with reality, what the Quran does and what it says. And the Quran is clear. You don't have to be a Muslim, but just heed the warning. If you want to ignore the warning, that's your business. But then, don't cry when your car gets towed away. Very, very simple.
Hang on a minute. Okay, let's take a step back. So first of all, let's deal with the first piece here that I was asking about, which is when I read the Quran. Let's leave aside the crazy people who are committing acts against innocent people. Let's leave that aside for a moment. We can come back to it. Let's just talk about my personal, because it's easier to talk about my personal experience.
Right, yes, yeah.
So
you're offended God said he's going to punish you.
It's not just that I'm afraid that God's going to punish me, because I'm not really afraid of it. Yes, it's kind of like
offended by it. I said
I'm offended by it in the sense of I consider myself
a good person,
decent human being.
Okay,
yes?
What's your criteria?
With my faith, and then I read the book. Yes, and the book, every other page says it doesn't say. I'm sure there's a verse that says, well, we've got 109 for starters, but even without 109, yes, I'm sure there are plenty of verses that say, if you struggle and you're basically a good person or whatever, you're fine. I'm sure there are verses that I can find to give me comfort. I'm not disputing that it's possible there. But I'm reading the Quran as it is, raw. Yes, I'm reading it, and there's loads of verses that I'm thinking to myself, they just don't seem nice. They're not pleasant. Yes, and what I mean is
punishment isn't pleasant.
Hang on a minute. Okay, so you talk about punishment. Yes, I also have 2 children, aged 9 and 11. Yeah, and I have to relate to them every day. I have to get them to ask them to clean their room up. I have them being defiant or angry or obnoxious or all sorts.
When you ask them to tidy their room, how do you motivate them?
Wait. Well, it's a very good question, but let me finish my point. As a father of these kids, right? First of all, I never ever use violence. I never threaten to use violence ever. And there's nothing that they can do at this age, 9, 11, which would ever bring me to do that. The only time I ever use any physicality with them is if they're fighting with each other to separate them, or if they're hitting me, in which case I defend myself. Right? Except at one time, my son punched me, and I instantly punched him back. Right? And I'm stronger than he is. And he says to me, well, why did you hit me, Dad? You told me that you're non-violent. Why did you hit me? And I said it was self-defense. And he said, no, hitting me back is self-defense. Hitting me back is revenge. Yeah. And I said, well, I wanted to teach you a lesson. He said, Dad, you told me non-violent. And he kind of beat me at my own game, right? So you talk about. See, I don't think this is the crunch here. I don't think belief, yes, is important.
No.
I think action is important.
Yes.
In other words, we have 2 people.
I agree with you.
One's a believing Muslim or believing Jew, yes, who believes in all the stuff.
Do you understand what belief is?
Scoundrel.
Do you know what belief
yes,
is?
and another guy is complete atheist, believes in nothing, and is a doctor going into the poor countries in war-torn areas and helping people.
You believe in God? Sorry, so you do believe in God, isn't it?
Okay, so I just told you what I believe.
Right. So is respect to God more important than respect? Listen. I'm gonna.
What do you think I believe?
You said you were a Jew. You said you brought up strict Orthodox Jew.
Yeah.
Then you started questioning things. Now I
believe in a higher power, which is a mystery.
Creator. That's fine.
That's
I can live
you
with
want to call that God? Fine.
No, I say Creator.
Fine. Okay.
Higher power, whichever you want to say. Okay.
Yes, the answer is yes.
Okay. See, here's how we are as Muslims. Okay. There's 3 things. Yeah. You can respect the people like you. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can be kind to the people, do charity, this, that, the other. Yeah? And ignore God. Okay?
Okay.
Right? Or you can revere God and act pious and then be a scoundrel to the people.
Okay.
Yeah?
Fine.
So then these are the ones who claim to be religious.
Right.
Yeah? Yet they're the most tyrannical, oppressive people you meet.
Fine.
They'll cheat and they'll steal and whatever, yet they'll go to the mosque and pray as if they're on it. Okay.
Right.
And then you have those who are good to the people and respect God. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Islam requires number 3.
Okay, but you see, I accept that.
Right.
I accept Islam requires number 3. But
So
let's suppose I'm in group 1.
So believing is not enough.
Hang on a minute. But what I'm saying is, right, that when I, again, come back to my experience reading the Quran, when I read the Quran and I look around the world, yes, and I look.
I'm trying to understand this correlation.
The Quran seems to say,
yes,
the message I'm picking up.
Right.
My biased reading, because I obviously have my own subjective up of stuff. But when I open it, or read chapter one after the other, what I'm picking up is a message, right, which is very, very, very interested in my belief, right? Okay. By the way, my Jewish faith that I was brought up in, yes, has there are some aspects of faith, but it's very disinterested in faith. It's interested.
I know. Spiritually, Jews are spiritually dead.
No, Jews are. Well, you can call them spiritually dead. I don't know what that even means, but
it means they missed the. Okay, give me an example. Jewish women are told to cover their heads, so they shave their heads and wear wigs.
No, wait, hang on a second. But that's you know. What's your name? Sorry,
Darren.
I'm Jonathan. Listen, Darren. I find it really, really unhelpful to the point of offensive, right? To use words like Jews do this and do that. There are about 15 million people who would self-identify as Jews in the world, and about 200,000 of them shave their hair, right? So to say that Jews do that is a nonsense.
No.
It's not a lie. You don't mean to be
the point is this.
But I'm telling you, it's hugely inaccurate.
Look, that's
and we need to be specific.
All right, and is that spiritually incorrect or correct?
Is what, to shave your head?
And wear a wig to cover your head.
Is it spiritually incorrect? Well, it depends what you mean.
But what does it?
No, Darren, listen. To say words like spiritually incorrect and to have me react to it as though we all know what spiritual correctness is.
All right, I'll make it easy for you. I'll make it easy. Well, I'll make it easy for you, isn't it?
I'll say this quick. 1 second. My brother. Hi, Danny. Quick. I'm in the middle of a discussion. No. Well, you didn't tell me. I didn't have a contract or anything, so sorry.
Okay, what I mean by this is that you're given a law by God.
Yeah.
Now, you have a literal law, and you have the spirit behind the law.
Okay, fine. So I 100% agree with you that there are loads and loads of Jewish people, not all of them, but there are plenty of Jewish people in the community that I belong to, or the sub-communities of...
Who are literal.
Who are literalist and have lost 90% of spirituality.
Right.
I agree with that. Right? Because human beings
as long as you accept that, then.
But to say Jews have lost spirituality is absurd. It's nonsense.
You say that.
I don't think so. You did say it.
Spiritually dead, I said.
Spiritually dead, sorry. I say that is an absurd nonsense.
Well, if you take everything literally and you miss the spirit behind the law.
But there are 50 million Jews, and the Jews sit on a spectrum of how literally they take stuff and how much they live within the spirit of the law. And you're saying they all are that point spectrum.
Do they wear headscarves?
No, my wife is Jewish. She does not wear any kind of head covering at all.
Why not?
My sister's Jewish, and
she's not even following the law.
Jewish, and she doesn't shave her hair, but she covers it with a wig. Right.
Okay.
Now,
is that what the law? Is that what the law meant?
Wait. Even if that specific law of covering your hair didn't mean that you should wear a wig. Even if wearing a wig is a misunderstanding of the spirituality of that law, to say that therefore
it's a literal understanding.
My sister's entire Jewish experience is spiritually dead.
No, I'm saying
because she's Jewish is nonsense.
No. What's this?
It's dangerous.
No. First thing is evidence that it is literalistic understanding of the law.
She has some literalistic understanding of the law.
Right.
She has some because we're complex.
Right.
And you seem to be simplifying everything.
Okay.
Things are complicated.
So the point is this: if we have evidence of one aspect of literally taking the law like that and missing the spirit behind it, then there could be plenty more.
There are plenty more. There can be. I assure you there are.
Anyway, don't deflect onto this.
Fine. No, I'm not deflecting onto it. I'm just
go back to your
I think it's important.
Spiritual.
By the way, this reflects on this whole conversation because I can see that one of the ways that you understand the world is very black and white. There's right and wrong, and it's very clear. And I don't see the world like that. I see the world as a spectrum of colour where there is a lot of uncertainty and complexity.
Okay, you said you 1 second. Earlier, you defined yourself as a decent, good person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who said?
Who said?
Yeah.
Good question. First of all, I define myself.
Of course you do. Of course you do. What's your criteria?
My criteria are: I don't deliberately cause harm to people or animals. I'm a vegan.
What if God says you can eat animals?
Sorry? No, but I personally, I think the way animals are treated today in today's society in factory farms is problematic, so I don't eat them.
No, I appreciate that.
But what if animals I've killed myself?
Yeah, so you're not vegan then?
Well, I would eat them, but I never kill any animals myself.
But
so I'm effectively a vegan.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay, my point is very simple.
My diet is a vegan diet.
I'll make it simple, okay, because I don't need to beat around the bush, because you've got 20 minutes left now, is it?
Let me see.
Okay. My point is very, very simple.
We've got 20 minutes.
Who cares what Jonathan thinks is good in the eyes of God? It's what God thinks is good that matters.
Hang on a minute. Okay, well, let's get on to God. Let's get on to God.
So this is why I asked you. Wait. Sorry.
Yeah.
This is why I asked you. According to whose criteria are you good?
Okay.
And you didn't. You said yourself.
Well, let's talk about God.
Well, no. Let's not avoid that question.
No, I'm not avoiding the question.
You are.
You think that you know what God thinks is good.
No. I'm saying to you, first of all,
Yeah.
I'm saying you don't know what is good.
Okay.
According to God.
Okay. So let's talk about knowledge for a moment. Okay, my knowledge. Okay, my self-knowledge. So this is
Before you do that, no. Before you do that, let's set the principle. The principle is this: you made the claim you were decent and good.
Yes.
I ask you, who said that? You said a good question. I say that.
I haven't answered the question yet.
No. I understand.
Well, let me answer it.
Well, then we could elaborate on the question so you understand it.
All right.
Okay, because you did answer it. You went, and this and that and the other. So, first of all, who defines your good? You said, I do. That was your conclusion.
Yeah, but I want to get elaborate.
Now, for me, good and bad is universal. Yeah? What's good for me here is good for someone in China. What's bad for me here is bad for someone in China. That's not how the world works, though. But that's how I define good and bad.
Right.
What God thinks is good is good. What God thinks is bad is bad.
Okay.
You have no right to say you're good because you have no criteria for good.
Hang on.
Go on.
Okay, let's unpack this a little bit.
Go on.
I'm gonna first of all, I'm gonna define why I think I'm qualified
To be good.
to judge myself
Yes.
as being good.
Yes.
Right. Which is I believe, there's a tautology here. In other words, there's a self-defining problem here, which I accept. But I believe that every human being has an inner moral compass. Just like our heart knows how to pump. Yes.
Right.
There's an inner spirit
Agreed.
inside human beings that knows knows right and wrong. We just know. I don't know how I know, but I kind of, when I see something that's wrong, I kind of know there's an instinct.
Do you drink alcohol?
No. So when I see something...
Is drinking alcohol good or bad?
Sorry? Well, okay. Well, I want to talk about good and bad in a minute, okay? I'll get to alcohol. I just want to finish what I'm saying. So that's the first part, right? I believe...
You intrinsically know?
I intrinsically know that I'm basically a good person. I make mistakes, I sin, whatever, but I'm basically a good person, number one. Number two, by the way, in answer to the question, I get feedback. I get feedback from my clients, from my wife, from my kids, from my friends,
right,
from strangers. I get feedback. They say, thank you. You were very kind. I appreciate what you did. So I get feedback from people.
Right.
I haven't got an enemy in this world.
Right.
I have 4 siblings.
Oh, you do have an enemy in this world, but carry on.
No, I haven't got an enemy who I haven't got a known enemy who I'm in.
You do have a known enemy. You are in a fight with.
Who's that?
Satan, obviously.
Satan. Apart from Satan, I haven't got an enemy.
He's the only adversary.
I haven't got a human enemy in this world. I'm saying I have friends. I don't have people who hate me.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. So I have relationships.
No, you're a nice guy.
I have relationships.
I wouldn't say you're not a nice guy.
No, but I'm saying you asked me the question, how do I know? That's another piece.
No. I didn't say why don't people like you.
What gives me the
Who says
authority to say that I'm good? I'm saying other people around me do.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I say what I say.
Yeah.
People around you are products of their own social conditioning. Yeah?
Okay.
And it's society that permeates right and wrong. Yeah?
Fine, but I think.
So, for example.
One second. I think that if I were to list all the things I like about myself, right? I'm getting a little egotistical here, but just for the sake of discussion, I don't really want to talk about myself very long. Okay, yeah. I don't kill people or animals senselessly or at all. I don't even harm anybody physically. I don't talk nastily about people behind their back, and spread gossip. Yeah. I give a lot of time and money to charity. Yes. I'm faithful to my wife. I'm kind to my family, my children, right?
You make a fantastic Muslim.
I work in the sustainability industry to try and reduce the amount of pollution in the world. So I add up all these things. I go, I'm a pretty nice guy.
So what do you think the difference between you and a Muslim is?
I sound like an arrogant
No,
person,
Jonathan.
it's not unreasonable.
Jonathan, what do you think the difference between what you just said then is and a Muslim?
Sorry?
What do you think the difference is? Everything you just said then, your nature.
Right.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Okay, and I think I'm very lucky that I have a certain kind of nature. But
the problem you have...
Yeah. Wait, no, I have a problem with belief. I have a problem with belief, my own belief, right?
Yeah.
And then when I read the Quran, yes, I find it fearful.
Does the Quran tell you to act anyway against what you've just said you are?
The Quran insists on me believing certain things that I don't believe.
Believe what?
believe in the power in the
God.
relationship between me and God.
What's that relationship?
That one of servant and master.
So when you die, according to your belief in this higher power, what's going to happen?
I have absolutely
right.
Not only do I not know what's going to happen when I die,
right.
I don't think it's possible for anyone to know what happens when I die.
Unless.
Look, there's 99. I'm 97 sure about that. There's 1%.
Does the higher power know what's going to happen to you when you die?
Well, the simple answer is yes. The more complicated answer is we're getting onto the conversation of this power and knowledge and what it means.
No. What we're saying, first of all, you said no one knows what's going to happen when you die. That was your statement.
No human being knows.
Right. But does the higher power know?
Yes.
All right.
But the high power is a mystery to me. So it's irrelevant what the high power knows.
Okay. But you accept this higher power exists?
Yes.
Right. So this higher power could warn you about what's going to happen to you when you die because he knows?
It's absolutely possible.
Right. And how would you recognize that warning?
Well, you talked before about good and bad, and you talked about and a lot of believing Muslims talk about the Quran and the word and evidence and literal and predictions and
Can I just say one thing before we continue?
Yeah.
Please don't start quoting other Muslims as if I said it.
No, I didn't say you.
No. You're starting to.
No, I'm saying some Muslims.
Yeah, but don't. Just speak to what I say.
Okay. Okay. Say you. So Darren, you correct me where I'm wrong, but you believe that you talked about good and bad before, right? You said what's good for you here is good for people in China.
Yeah.
Right now, here's the crunch. Okay. Good and bad are like black and white. First of all, good and bad can't exist one without the other. There's no such thing as good without bad.
Right.
Right. Number one. The same with black and white. Same as the tail and the head of a cat.
Yes.
Okay. So that's number one. Number two, and more importantly, yes, is that. Goodness and badness are highly complex. They are highly complex.
Right.
So even to say something's good for you, never mind the guy in China.
No, that's relative. I'm not talking about relative.
Yeah, never saying good for you. To say that something is absolutely 100% perfectly good for anyone, anything for anyone, you can bring any example you like, is not useful in the sense that it doesn't really, it's not wise.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
So,
I'll make it easy for you. Praying 5 times a day is good for everybody.
Okay. So let me tell you that for me, praying 5 times. First of all, it depends on what you're praying anyway.
Praying as a Muslim prays.
No, I'm saying. So for me, Jonathan, 48 years old here in London.
Pray 5 times a day.
Pray 5 times a day in my lounge. Yes, to say the words that you say, or
not necessarily in your lounge.
No, whatever. To pray in my head, walking in the street.
No.
Day,
to pray. Okay.
Tell me.
To pray as a Muslim prays 5 times a day at the times they pray.
So to prostrate myself.
Prostrate, kneel, stand.
Dawn and dusk.
Dawn, afternoon, late afternoon, dusk.
Yes. I don't know what it is.
Yes.
It's a good thing. So here's the point. Here's my point. So you could say, right, that whether I realize.
You should ask me. Why is that a good thing?
No. I understand why you think it's a good thing.
Why?
Because God said so.
No.
Okay, because there's an unspoken spiritual benefit to the world to have people pray.
No.
So you tell me that.
So you don't know?
I don't know. I'm guessing. I guess, and my guesses are wrong. You tell me.
Good. Okay. When you pray 5 times a day, it means you have God consciousness throughout the whole day. So in the morning, you've got God consciousness. When in the afternoon, you've got God consciousness. In the late afternoon, you still have God consciousness. By the dusk time, you still have God consciousness. And by the evening, again, you remind of God consciousness. Now, to have God consciousness reminds you of God and remind you of God's guidance. So, for example, you're not going to say to someone, yeah, we'll go rob that shop, but let me go pray my daughter first. Yeah? You're not going to do that. Yeah? Do you understand? You're not going to do that because it's impossible because of the God consciousness. If you're on your deen. But like I said to you, there's 3 categories of people. There are people who will go to the mosque and pray and then go cheat and steal in their business. Yeah? There are people who do this. This is just as bad as you.
Okay, look.
You know who that is? I'll tell you who that is. Can I have that Quran again? Because the beautiful thing is, you see, that Quran you read just explained this. The verse I read. Yeah? And the amazing thing is, it warns you very quickly. Yeah? It says, this is the scripture of which there is no doubt, guidance to those who ward off evil, who believe in the unseen and establish worship and spend of that we have bestowed upon them, and who believe in that which is revealed to you, Muhammad, and that which is revealed before you, and are certain of the hereafter. These depend on guidance from their Lord. These are the successful. So Allah is saying in the Quran here that we Muslims who adhere to the guidance are the successful in this world and the hereafter. Why are we successful in this life? It's because we avoid all the pitfalls of this life. Now, for me, I've said this many times, there are 5 poisons destroying every society.
There are 5
poisons.
Right.
Alcohol, drugs, sexual immorality, interest dealings, and gambling. Yeah,
Okay.
these 5 things erode every society. Yeah, every society. Now, if you're on the deen, if you're following the guidance, you'll never drink, you'll never gamble, you'll never sleep around, you'll never deal in interest, yeah? And you'll never do drugs, yeah?
How do you define gambling?
Gambling.
How do you define it?
Horse racing.
Is working in the stock market gambling?
Okay. The stock market is a grey area. The reason being is because in the stock market you're investing in companies for a profit or a loss. Now we're told in Islam do not mistake interest and so it's not gambling. Yeah. Now gambling is dice. Is
in my opinion, I've got friends who work in the investment industry, right? And I literally when they come around to our house, I say to my wife, "Oh, it's Ted the gambler." I call them gamblers.
Yeah.
And when they tell me what they do, I'm like, this is so gambling. It's ridiculous. It's
why they're going off market trends and all that business.
And anyway, you said it. It was beautiful what you said. It's a grey area.
It is a grey area.
I call it a colourful area, but never mind.
I'll make gambling.
It's not black and white. And by the way, I just want you to know something. In here is water. I have a habit which I still have when I teach my children. Before I drink my water, I say Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol nהיה b'dvaro.
Alhamdulillah. Drink your right hand. Anyway, carry on.
Right, and that means I'm God conscious before I drink my water.
Yeah.
My kids who are 9 and 11, yes, whenever they eat or drink, I say I want you to be conscious,
fantastic,
graciousness of the universe before you eat that biscuit. Wait. You said to me that praying 5 times a day is good for everyone.
Yes.
Right? And I say to you that it depends on there's loads of dependencies on whether it's good or not. In other words, it's good for some people in some circumstances, and it's not good for other people in those circumstances. So for example, for me, if I were to get up tomorrow morning, yes, at dawn, and I had to get a mat and put it in my lounge to prostrate myself, and I would say whatever it is that Muslims say when they pray in Arabic, yes, and my wife would have come down the stairs, right, and she would see me doing this, okay, this would be hugely harmful to my marriage and my relationship, number 1. Number 2,
why?
Right, I don't, because she doesn't want to be married to a Muslim. She married someone who married me.
Why should I be married to a Muslim?
That wasn't the deal. So I'd probably get divorced. Number two, why are you asking that question? Obviously, my wife did not expect me to suddenly start praying to Allah.
Well, no, here's the thing, you see. The difference between you and a Muslim, as explained by your character, is no difference. So hang on a minute. You told me very specifically, let's be specific. I like the specificity of this conversation. Yeah. You told me very specifically that for anyone, anywhere, to pray 5 times a day is a good thing. Yes.
I dispute that. I think that it's good for a believing Muslim, yes, who is able to use the prayer to become God conscious in the world for themselves. I think that they're a good thing. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
Can I use your wife example?
What's that?
Can I use your wife example? If you praying 5 times a day exposes your wife's shallowness and her love is dependent on that, then I think you had a good escape, personally.
Hang on a second.
Anyway, hang on a
second. Let's get to the Quran for a minute.
Yeah, we'll go to the Quran. You brought the wife into it.
There was a verse here.
Anyway, let me just continue a second. Let me just continue where I was at. So Allah is saying...
Time warning. So, I've got 5 minutes.
No problem. So the guidance we're referring to, so we don't drink alcohol, we don't gamble. You're the one who deflected the gambling and where it went. Okay. The gambling is referring to gambling dice, bookies, horses, football coupons, all of this business. The thing that's getting people into debt, yeah? It warns against the interest dealings, wonga loans, payday loans, mortgages, credit cards, debit cards, store cards.
Okay.
Yeah, why? Because people are in debt.
Right.
Okay. So Islam warns against that. Yeah? So if you follow the guidance, this is why you are successful. So for example, if you're a Muslim and you're on guidance, you'll never be a gambling addict, you'll never be an alcoholic, you'll never be a prostitute, you'll never be a drug addict, you'll never be a burglar, you'll never be none of these things. Yeah, because you'll never put yourself in a situation where you can become that.
I agree with you. All
right. Sorry. So the Quran is correct there. Okay, let's continue.
Well, can you just get to the bit, because I've only got
I'm coming to you now, and then I'm going to come to my point.
Okay.
As for the disbelievers, whether you warn them or you warn them not, it is all for one, they believe not. Yeah? So whether you...
No, but stop there. Stop. This is really important. And this is... I keep coming up with the same theme here, right?
What's the same theme?
Hang on, I'll tell you what the theme is. I'm going to tell you, right? You use the word disbeliever.
What does that mean?
Well, what does it mean? You tell me what it means.
Okay, disbeliever is the one who hears the message, and rejects it.
But you see again, this doesn't make any sense.
Why
at
not?
all, and it's very dangerous.
Which sense doesn't it make?
I'll tell you what doesn't make sense.
Tell me.
You keep on using words like the message and unbelievers.
Yes.
And look, certain of the hereafter.
Okay.
Right? I find the word certain of the hereafter hugely problematic.
No, that's
Why?
wait, sorry, stop.
What does that mean to be certain of the hereafter?
Okay, first thing.
No one knows what the hereafter is, whether it exists for sure.
First,
How can you be certain of it?
Jonathan, first thing.
What kind of words you put in this script like that?
I'll tell you. Shall I tell you? First of all, that doesn't apply to you. Yeah? That's for believers. Yeah? This is for those who believe. You don't believe.
Okay, but...
All right, so right now,
I'm not a non-believer.
Jonathan, right now, we're not really bothered whether or not you believe in the hereafter or not. Right now. The Quran's not talking to you. Okay? Don't be egotistical, mate. It's all about you. All right?
Well, you say that, but I started this conversation admittingly.
I know you did. I know. But what I'm saying to you...
It's about my reading of the Quran, so it's about me.
So this is saying about the people who are certain of the hereafter, who are aware of accountability, know this life is in the end, and know that after we're going to be held accountable for our actions. Yeah?
Right. Okay.
That's who it's speaking to.
Okay.
They're the successful. Because they're the ones who are aware, they're the ones who are conscious. Those who don't care about the hereafter will act like they like and get away with what they can. Yeah? Because they don't worry about accountability.
But that's not true either.
Is it not?
No, it's not, and I'll tell you why.
I'll tell you why.
Wait a second. You asked me before what motivates me.
All right.
Rewarded, okay? All right. I am personally friends with many people who strongly profess atheism. Now, I tell them that I love them to pieces, but do not respect their belief system. I don't respect atheism. I think it's a ridiculous belief, or lack of belief. But they self-define as atheists. Okay? These are friends of mine who I care about.
All right.
Friends of my family.
Go on.
Who are atheists. I see them acting kindly and decently. They don't believe in a hereafter.
All right.
Yes? And they are acting beautifully, kindly, decently, smartly, contributing, being in good relationships and having love in the world, bring love to the world.
Okay.
So it doesn't, believing in a hereafter.
No, I didn't say hereafter.
Simply does not
No. Accountability.
do much. Accountability either.
All right. Well,
it might increase
Jonathan,
chances of good behaviour, it might not.
I'm going to prove you wrong again.
Okay.
All right. There was a survey done, I think it was Oxford University.
Right.
And the students were asked, if you could rape a girl and know you get away with it, there's no way you're going to get caught, would you do it?
Right.
I think 70% of the students said they would.
Okay, fine.
No, listen.
Fine. I accept. Look, I accept.
No, what's the key there? What's the key?
The key is accountability. Now, I accept.
Right. Now, you just said character doesn't matter.
I didn't. I said accountability is not a necessary condition.
Well, it was for them.
For behaving morally. Well, 70% said yes, and 30% said no.
Right.
Now, 30% might have said no because they believe in accountability.
I'm going to be honest. Can I be honest with you?
No, internally that it's wrong.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was like 90%, but I don't want to say 90, so I'm being conservative. But I'm just saying to you, the point here is this. You said accountability doesn't matter, and accountability does matter, because if you have no accountability, you can behave how you like. Do you think Robert Mugabe has accountability? For example?
1 second, just in case I have to go.
We can pick it up again, Jonathan, no problem. I'm here again on the 18th.
Okay, I've got to go.
Okay, Jonathan.
Let me leave this with you. Let me leave this question with you, right? And then
can I answer it straight away?
You can answer it straight away, and you can have the last word. Okay?
Go on.
I told you my belief system. Okay, my belief system, which is not a clear belief system, it's a cloudy one, right? Is I believe that human beings have the world has a spiritual aspect to it, and that there's a higher power, and that this higher power is shrouded in mystery, right? You talk about God, and many religious people, fellow Jews and Muslims, and your fellow Muslims, talk about God as though God is knowable, understandable, definable, right? I don't think any of those things apply to God. I think that when you talk about God, and I talk about God, and he talks about God, and these things are inexplicable and complex and difficult to agree on matters.
So what's your question?
My question is, how can you therefore talk about God, yes, as though we all know what God is, when God is not knowable?
Very easy answer for you.
Yeah.
Because I don't ignore God's messengers whilst you do. Jonathan, been a pleasure.
Have a lovely day, everybody.
Take care.